me, what more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life.
All right, welcome to the Live Your Dreams podcast, where success leaves clues and someone has your answer. Today we're doing something different, but as always, joined by my lovely co-host, Mrs. Tia Mckisset.
Hello.
All right, so today, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing a reboot on how to maintain a healthy marriage. Tia and I have been married for 28 years, but we're doing something different. We have TikTok going also live to try to see if anyone had any questions on how to maintain a healthy marriage. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, just to start it off, when we first got married, Tia, I know when we went on our honeymoon and we took the money from our marriage where everybody was giving us gifts, and we went to Atlantic City. And it's funny, we're about to go back to Atlantic City. But anyway, we went to Atlantic City, and, you know, we had, I think it was maybe $100 or so dollars that we got, a little more. And we spent everything. I mean, everything with food and entertainment and a little gambling, because we used to gamble back then. But on the way back, I wasn't thinking that there was tolls. And this was before debit cards, you know, or before anything like that. Easy passes or anything. Yeah. You had to pay money to get through the toll. So we were coming to a toll, and it was maybe $1 or $2. And I was like, man, I don't have any money. And what was so funny, Tia pulled out $2 out of her pocket. Look, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And
that.
it was, and that's been our marriage. The whole marriage, every time I'm low, Tia's high. Every time I'm high and Tia may need help, I'm there. And I think that's what really helps us maintain our marriage, is that every time we need each other, we got our back, you know?
Right.
And I think that's the number one thing when you talk about maintaining a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage, is that you have to have each other's back. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So that's one of the things, and that's what we're here for, to answer any questions or see if anybody had any questions on, hey, how do you maintain a healthy marriage? Because someone told me, and I don't know how true it is, they say, hey, man, you know, you and Tia may be the last of the, what would they say, traditionalists or something like that, right?
Right.
The traditional values or the traditional upbringing. So I don't believe that. I think, you know, there's always going to be relationships. I think there's always going to be healthy relationships.
Right.
But I think some individuals have to come out and start talking about how do you maintain a healthy relationship. And I think we have to set some of the, I guess, false rumors, you know, to bed. Like, you and I are happy every day. You know,
right.
It's not that we get along every single day. Some days, you know, we do have arguments. Some day we do disagree. But I think, you know, if they think we're in bliss every day, I think that's not the case. But I think one of the things, I think you said it best here, you and I want to be married.
Right.
So no matter what happens, we still know at the end of the night we're going to be there. And I think your parents did a great job of modeling that also, just being there for one another. What do you think about that?
They've been married. They was married 48 years.
Yeah, 48 years.
And regardless of what they went through, they stuck it in.
Yeah, and being married 48 years, I mean, that was amazing. And again, I know Tom showed me everything, the good, the bad, you know, the ugly. So I know he was showing what it takes to be married, right? For 48 years, that's a commitment, right? And we've been married 28 years, and I think the commitment that you and I made, no matter whether we argue, no matter whether we disagree, I think at the end of the day, you and I know that you got my back, I have your back. Right. You know, do you agree with that?
I agree with that. And let me all tell you how we met. We met through his friend, and he came to my house, asked me if I wanted to go out, and we went out. We met in January. We made it official in April. He left for the military in May. Yep. He was gone all summer, from May to August, and he said, when I come back, we're going to get married. And my parents were strict, so I was kind of nervous, like, oh, gosh, I can't tell them I'm getting married. And he told all his family once he came back, and they were all happy for us. And when we came back, we got an apartment, and he lived there. I stayed home and until we got married. We got married that October the 8th. We had a big church wedding with over 300 people.
Yeah, it was big.
It was really big. Everybody came out and helped us out, and I'm a triplet also, so they was in the wedding, and
and also I think in the beginning we didn't know we would have all that support, but when it was all said and done, we had a lot of support. I mean, a lot of family and friends came together.
Right, we was only 21 years old when we got married.
Yeah, and at that time, a lot of 21-year-olds wasn't getting married like that.
And I just want to know, even from TikTok, are people staying committed and trying to, stay married? Or is it a thing where, people are just dating?
Yeah, I wonder. That's a good question, Tia, because I wonder, is there, committed relationships out there? And is it individuals who say, hey, I want to stay together, no matter what?
Right.
Because I think it's going to be good. It's going to be bad. Because I think you and I had really good times. We had some bad times, some hard times, some struggles. But through it all, we stuck it out. And again, I think it goes back to what you said. No matter what, you want to be married and I want to be married. Right. And I think that was the key to us staying together, that both of us wanted to be married.
That's true.
Was there any questions or anything? Like somebody had some questions?
I think people, they listening in.
Okay, now this is our first time. We're doing a podcast. We do a podcast, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to Live Your Dreams podcast on YouTube. You can type in Maurice Mckisset. But we're trying to do a live TikTok at the same time just to see, because we're curious. Is there, we wanted to show how to maintain a marriage, give some tips on how to maintain a marriage, and also hear from some people if they had some questions or anything on, how do you maintain a marriage? But I think the number one thing is that you do have to be, I know it's so cliche when you say friends, but I think you do have to be friends, because I think you and I are very close friends. Mm-hmm. When we go out, we do things together.
Who is Maurice?
Okay. Now, okay. Who am I? I'm Tia's husband. We've been married for 28 years. Pretty much one of the things, we have a podcast that we do, Live Your Dreams podcast, really showing people how to be successful, how to live their dreams, because sometimes people don't know how. I know when I was coming up, I didn't know how to be successful. Grew up, and again, I know TikTok is, all over, but just to know, I don't know if anyone knows, in D.C., Southeast D.C., grew up where, we did have role models. I can't say there were no role models. There were some role models that I had. But the peer pressure and so much of low expectations was just rapid. So one of the things I wanted to do was do a podcast so I could show people on how you can actually start all the way from the bottom and actually make it to just live your dream, where every day you're just you're impressing yourself, where you're living on the expectations that you had no idea that you can do. So pretty much, I was in the military, in the Marine Corps. Went to UDC, graduated from Easton High School. Mm-hmm. One of the good things about it is that, I've learned, and if you look at some of the podcasts, you'll see how some of the things we did to get to where we are. And again, one thing I always stress to people: tomorrow's not promised. You have to live every single day with passion, because tomorrow is not promised. And you got to really enjoy each day. Because again, no matter what you may think, it could get worse. And no matter what you may think, somebody want to be in your shoes. And no matter what you may think, the sky's not falling. If the sky haven't failed in all these years, what makes you think it's going to fall now? So the world's not coming to an end. We're here, and nobody can predict the future. So let me take that back. No one can predict the future. But again, let's enjoy what we have today.
And I see somebody asks, what made us get married so young? Well, we knew what we wanted at that time.
Yeah, and I think that's the key when you say you knew what you wanted, I know what I wanted. Yeah, good work. So that's one of the things where, and again, this is new to us, trying to do a TikTok and do the podcast at the same time. But we said we'll try, because again, you never know what can work until you try. And one thing when you talk about live your dreams, I know myself and Tia, we're not scared to fail. I mean, we've tried so many things. You have no idea, but we're not scared to fail. it's no one that's going to laugh at us, because really when it's all said and done, it's just Tia, and myself.
Right.
We have 4 beautiful children who's are very supportive also. We support them, they support us. But, we really don't have any fear of failing. I mean, we're really willing to make mistakes and try different things, because you never know what's going to work. But I don't want to, when it's all said and done, I don't want to say, hey, I wish I would have tried this,
Hey, Talina.
All right. So that's one of the things where you got to definitely go out there and try different things, fail. Get out there, because, again, tomorrow is not promised. All you have is the day. That's all you have is the day. And you want to go for it. You definitely want to go for it. So what's one of the best stories you have, Tia, with the 28 years we've been married? What's one of the best stories you have?
Well, all my stories are good.
Well, tell one.
It's weird because I really, really do love being married. We call each other all day like teenagers. And we talk all the time. Communication is the key. Making sure that you do talk, tell your feelings, make sure you don't hold anything in. No hard feelings, no, when you get upset, don't, take it out on each other or anything like that.
All right, so good to go. So, Tia, tell another one of your stories since you have so many, because I want to hear some.
Well, about marriage? About our marriage?
Absolutely.
You got good stories, too.
But I want to, after you tell one, I'll tell one. I told one about the Atlantic City trip.
You tell good
all right,
stories.
So let me tell another story. I guess when you look at, so let me tell one when we were, I guess, first starting out.
I got one when we first started out.
Okay.
And he was in the military. He left for the military in May. He didn't come back until August. So, mind you, we just started dating in January. Made it official in April. So, really, we didn't get to know each other that much because you was gone early part of the relationship. And he said, make sure you write me every day. Make sure you write me every day. But I got sick one day and didn't write him, and he held that against me for a while,
Yeah.
Because he was looking for those letters every day.
Yeah, and when you're in boot camp, that's the only thing you have is those letters.
So you got to stay, consistent.
Absolutely. And I think that's the key. You mentioned the key word to success, too, consistency. Because it's just like with the podcast. We got to be consistent with it, doing them. We do our podcast once a week. We do your Take Your Health Back Tuesdays once a week. Again, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to Maurice Mckisset. Please support. What we try to do is really show how you can be successful, how you can live your dreams, and how you can do some things. And I know as a family with our 4 children, we're pulling out resources together, showing, because we've have a daycare business. I've had cleaning companies, but what we're trying to do is pull out resources, and we're showing other people how to do it also, just to start some businesses and things like that. So really just doing some things that show people, no matter where you're starting from, how you can be successful, how you can live your dreams. Because, again, sometimes you may think that it's not possible to live your dreams or live the way or the lifestyle that you may want to live, but I'm telling you, it's so possible. Because, again, not only is it possible, but anything that you can really dream up or believe, you can really make come true. With some hard work, with some belief in yourself, you can really make some things come true, especially if you have a partner that's supportive. You really can make some things come true for yourself.
And that's why I wanted to do this podcast, because I'm so excited to have a good husband. I was just wondering how about other people, if they're, committing and, in a stable marriage and a happy marriage. Like I said, all marriages are not perfect, but at least they're with someone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things about it is that when you think of a marriage, I had my grandfather, my grandmother to model a good relationship in front of me. Unfortunately, my mom, because I didn't know my biological father, they got divorced before, while I was still an infant or very young. My mother got married again, and that didn't turn out too well. So, again, I didn't really see in my home what a good marriage looked like. But I did have my grandfather and grandmother who, was a very traditional. And on my father's side, even though I didn't have a relationship with my father, I still have a relationship with my grandmother. My grandmother's 94 and 96 maybe. I have a relationship with her. I had a relationship with my uncles, my father's brothers. Even though I didn't have a relationship with my father, had a relationship with my uncles. So, I did have some good examples of what a healthy marriage looks like. All right. So anybody had any questions or anything like that? And again, this is our first time doing a TikTok with our podcast. But again, we were trying something different, trying to see if, this works out, trying to see if, people wanted to hear about a healthy relationship. Because sometimes, maybe, I don't know, somebody told us traditionalism is over. They say traditionalism is over.
Yeah, they did.
It's over. But, I don't believe that. I think some of the things that, we do is still going strong. I think when we're gone, there's still going to be people still in, committed relationships. I don't see it going away. But again, I can't predict the future. But one of the things is that I do believe that, the backbone of a community is with strong relationships,
And somebody asks, what was a life-changing moment for you?
For me? Oh, man, I had so many. I tell you, every city, and I'm talking about the U.S., every city or inner city is the same pretty much. So I can't say, even though D.C. had the label of murder capital, now other cities have it. So every city's the same. But I think it was life-changing when I saw an avenue that I can do something different, that didn't have to be my, lot in life, because peer pressure is real. So I can't say peer pressure isn't real. People were doing things that they didn't even have to do, but the peer pressure was so intense. I mean, so intense. So I say the life-changing moment for me was when I guess I was in high school. And maybe the 11th, 12th grade, and I know so many people got this story. I started working and I read a book. I think it was, I can't remember, but it was a life-changing book that said it was possible for me. And at that time, I was getting into Les Brown, a lot of motivational speakers, really trying to change my life, really get away from that environment that at a young age, 11, 12, I saw that environment only had a couple of endings. And, it was so weird that a lot of the older individuals coming up, unfortunately were on drugs. And a lot of the younger was selling drugs. But I noticed a trend that the older people who were on drugs, unfortunately, used to sell drugs. And now a lot of the young people who sold drugs, some of them are on drugs or, in jail or, or no longer with us. Because you would come to school every day and someone would be, you'll have a friend that wouldn't be here anymore. And I didn't want that. And one thing with the relationship piece, since I didn't know my father, I know the pain of sitting on the curve waiting for your father to come, and you're looking at the cars like, I know this is him, and he never shows up, man. That pain is unbearable, and I didn't want that pain for nobody else. I didn't want that pain for nobody else. So that's why I work hard to be a great father. One thing my kids can say, or my children can say, is that, hey, every night he came home, right? And, you didn't have to look for me. So that's one of the things. So the life-changing moment was that I wanted something different. And, I told the story. Please subscribe to our podcast. Please subscribe to our podcast, Live Your Dreams, Maurice Mckisset. But one of the things that I always say with that is that, my expectations were so low. When I was in high school, I said, hey, if I could just get me an escort and apartment, I would be set. But again, nothing wrong with that. But, I look now at that goal and say, wow, that was such a low expectation of what I think is possible. Because now I try to do so much more. So, that was a life changing, just coming up and just wanting something different for my life. Because again, I knew there was something better than that, man. And again, and that's not just one city. That was every city. Every inner city was like that,
What motivates you in your career?
Well, one of the things is that, excuse me, is that I've always had a great work ethic. Where one thing I know for a fact that, I would stay anywhere and work as hard as I could from sun up to sundown, just so my children wouldn't have to go through what I went through when I was young. So I think it's the work ethic. You got to have a great work ethic. And what motivates me is that I just didn't want my children to go through what I went through,
And me, I was a stay-at-home mom for like 20-some years. And now we have our own daycare business in our home. Me and my daughter, we run it together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's one of the things. So again, we're trying something different, trying to do the podcast and TikTok at the same time. And again, T and I, we are not afraid to fail. We're not afraid because there's no one that's going to laugh at us. Because again, when it's all said and done, we know it's just us. So we're not afraid to fail. We're not afraid to make mistakes. We're not afraid to try something different,
Right.
And I think that's what maintained us for these 28 years is that we know I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, but we try every day to make our each other happy.
Right.
So one of the things is, Tia, did you ever tell your story?
Which one?
I don't know. You said you could tell a story. Did you ever tell a story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Right. Okay. All right. So one of the things I'll tell a quick story too, and I told this on one of the podcasts where when we first started out, our first apartment was a 1-bedroom, and I never forget. I mean, we had no money. I mean, none. And what was so funny is that Tia just wanted a shrimp basket, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was like, we don't have it. And Tia took the money and said, I'm going to get me a shrimp basket. And I mean, I guess that was the pinnacle of what motivated me too. I mean, I just wanted to really make sure, we had some resources so we could do some things. Even when we were coming up, we always made sure we did the vacations. Yeah. I mean, we have so many memories. I mean, so many, and back then I used to do photo albums. First I did the DVDs. I would videotape everything. I mean, I would videotape everything. And then after videotaping everything, I would take pictures. I was a scrapper. And I got that from my grandmother who's 96. Every time you would go over her house, she would have photo albums. And I thought that was just amazing to see pictures of individuals when they were young. Because I didn't know my father, but to see pictures of them, I really liked that. So maybe that's where I got that scrapping from. And that's maybe why I'm doing the podcast and stuff now, because again, I want to have memories for our family.
Right, that's true.
So, nobody have to tell my children who I was or what I was. They'll have pictures, they'll have videos, they'll have everything to see who I was. Nobody have to give them a story. They'll know.
Thank you. Somebody said, what a beautiful couple.
Oh, thank you. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is nice. This is different. You know what I mean? It seems more engaging. You agree?
Right. Yeah.
Than the podcast?
And I love TikTok. I'm always looking on there.
Yeah, you're a TikTok fanatic. A TikTok fanatic.
Somebody said, how do you subscribe to the YouTube?
Go to YouTube and put in Live Your Dreams podcast, or put in Maurice Mckisset, MauriceMckisset, and just hit subscribe. Please support, because again, we're trying to bring some content in. We've been told that we're the last of the traditionalists, so we'll see.
Oh, I see somebody else say they're in the bed. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So again, I think we're the last of the traditionalists. So I think that's the key. So I'm trying to close up this podcast real quick. Give me 1 second.
Thank you. They said they can't wait to check out the podcast.
Yeah, we got some good topics. And also, if anybody also leave comments in the podcast, if there's some topics you want us to talk about. Again, T and I got a lot of experience, been together 28 years, got married since we were 21. So again, it's a lot of experience, and we've came up every income branch. I mean, we've actually, like I said, been through a lot. I mean, pretty much everything that somebody say they've been through, I think we've been through it.
Yes.
And I think we failed together. I mean, we did a lot. So that's one of the things. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you. And yes, I do mean you, living your dreams. Peace.